Having a look at simple interest today. So simple interest is interest that is earned on an investment, and the interest is earned only on the original amount of the investment. Okay, so it's quite a straightforward formula that we use. We use I is equal to PRN, where I is the amount of interest, P is the principal amount, so principal means the amount that you're starting with, R is the interest rate. Now, in any question, you'll be given the interest rate as a percentage, but in your formula, you need to express your interest rate as a decimal, okay? And N is the number of time periods. So it's really important to note that R and N need to be expressed in the same time units. So usually the interest rate is given per annum, which means an annual interest rate or per year. So if that's the case, then N needs to be in years as well. If they're not in the same units, they do need to be adjusted so that they are. Okay, so that formula calculates the amount of interest that is earned on an investment. If you want to know the total amount that an investment will grow to, the amount is the principal plus the interest. Okay, so there are two formulas that we do need to use depending on the wording of the question. So as I said, the formula is quite straightforward. So I just want to show you a question where the formula is, it's just a matter of inputting the values into the formula. So our first question that we'll have a look at is just inputting values straight into the formula as they're given. So calculate simple interest earned if the principal is $1,000, the rate is 5% per annum, and the time is 3 years. So we pop it in, I is equal to, our principal is 1,000, multiplied by our rate, which is 5%, so that becomes 0.05, and the time is 3 years. So because our 5% per annum means years, per year, and 3 years, they match up, so we don't need to do any adjustments, so times 3, and that ends up as $150 with the calculation. So what that means is $150 of interest is earned on that investment after a period of 3 years. Okay, now it can get slightly more complex when we may be given the interest, we may need to find one of the other variables. So it's just a matter of still using that formula, but rearranging then to find our unknown value. So Roger invests $2,500 at 8% per annum simple interest to produce $50 interest. For how long did he invest the money? So in our question, we've been given the principal amount, so that's our P. We've been given our rate, and we've been given I. So what we want to find is N. So I'm going to write out my values as we know them. So I've got 50 is equal to, my principal is 2,500 plus, multiplied by my rate, of course, is 0.08 times N. Okay, now I'm just going to clean that up a bit before I get N on its own, just because I like to keep it really nice and straightforward, show that I know what I'm doing, and just keep it really clean. Okay, so I'm going to keep my 50 equals, and 2,500 times by 0.8 gives us 200. So effectively, we've got 50 is equal to 200 N. To get N on its own, we need to divide by 200 because that's a multiplication in there. So we're going to get N is equal to 50 over 200. So N is equal to 0.25 years. Now, I think it's really important to note we should use proper language, okay? We don't generally say something happened in 0.25 years. If something happens in less than a year, we usually express it in months. So 0.25 years is equivalent to 3 months. So it's a quarter of a year, which of course is a quarter of 12, which is 3 months. So look, it's not incorrect if you say 0.25 years, but hey, let's use the language that we use in everyday life. Keep it straightforward. Okay. Another example I want to show you is what's called buying on terms or a hire purchase agreement. So this is where you might buy an item from a shop and pay a deposit, and then you have a fixed amount that you pay per month or per week over a certain period of time. So in real life, this is how cars are generally bought on finance. Okay, so Lucy wants to buy a fridge advertised for $1,300, but she doesn't have the money. She signs an on terms or hire purchase, so they're just the official names, agreement to pay a deposit of $300 now and then $60 per month for 2 years. How much will she pay for the fridge? Okay, so her total paid is going to be her deposit, which is $300, plus then she has $60 for 2 years every month. So there's 24 months in 2 years. So that means she has 24 payments of $60, which comes out to be $1,740. So you can see there, for the convenience of being able to get the fridge without paying for it up front, she's paying a lot extra for it. Instead of paying the price tag of $1,300, she's paying $1,740. So that's one of the reasons why shops are really keen to get you to sign on to this sort of stuff, because they're effectively earning a lot more money from you. So now that we have the total amount that was paid for the fridge, we're being asked, what was the annual simple interest rate expressed as a percentage of the original amount borrowed? Okay, now this question is seemingly really simple, but I think the trick in here is the annual simple interest rate. Okay, so the interest that was paid overall is going to be the difference in the total amount paid, which was $1,740, and the cost of the fridge, which is $1,300. Okay, so that is $440 in interest was paid. Now, we want the annual simple interest rate. So it was $440 over 2 years. So the interest per year is $440 over 2, which is $220. Okay, so we want that now as an expressed as a percentage of the original amount borrowed. So remember, the cost of the fridge was $1,300, but she paid a $300 deposit. So the amount that she really borrowed was $1,000. So we express $220 as a percentage of 1,000, and we get 22% per annum. Okay, which is a lot of interest. Hopefully that cleared a few things up with simple interest. It is quite a simple formula to use. However, you do need to be really mindful of the wording used in questions when the questions do start to get a little bit more complicated. Give it a thumbs up if it was helpful for you, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel so you get notified when I upload new videos.